What's up, boomers? It's Shrey. Today I'm here with Kalpak Bhandari, proprietor of VCA Studio. He's an architect, and they are, you could say, one of the top uh, architects in Pune. And they're the best in the game. If you go to their website, vcast.studio, and just see their work, it's just mind blowing for me, especially because I'm not into architecture in any way. But seeing this just kind of inspired me to get into design. Not sure. So, anyways, enjoy the episode. And before we start, if you're not subscribed or following the podcast already, do that right now and share this. So, it's a challenge for you. Share this to at least one person that hasn't heard my podcast before. Share it to one person who hasn't heard it before. Thanks for coming over and enjoy the rest of the episode. Yeah, so like to start it off, just introduce us to yourself and VCA Studio.
Hi, I'm Kalpak Bhandari. I'm an architect. Uh, the name of my firm is called VCA Studio. It was founded in 1975 by my father, Vikas Bhandari. Good to be here. Shrey, good to talk to you.
Right now, obviously, this recording is happening 4 p.m. Saturday, so episode comes out tomorrow, and I'm never this late usually for recordings. I usually record like at least a few days before. So obviously
I'll take credit for making you late.
yeah. So obviously,
sorry for that, but
yeah, that's not a problem. But I'm just saying, like, people sometimes may get the misconception that if you're an entrepreneur, businessman, whatever, it's cool, it's a good, it's like easy. So tell everyone that it's not easy. It's hard work. It's still hard. It's hard work, whatever in whatever you do.
No, nothing comes easy.
Yeah.
So you got to work for it. The more you work for it, the harder you work for it, the earlier maybe you get what you want. And you never will get what you wish for. You will always get what you work for. This is something that I firmly believe in. 98, so I was 22. When you say I took over the proprietorship, it's not that.
So obviously, your father started VCA Studio in 1975, and you took proprietorship in 1998. So
we both are
growing up, did you? So how old were you when you took proprietorship?
Now, I mean, he does work even now. For a while, his focus of work is slightly different than mine. But yeah, he's around, and of course we work together. It's just that how much percentage one looks at a project is different. Yeah, that's about it. My friend's reaction.
Okay, so
friends as in
that's like
my batchmates from architecture.
Compare that
or
to your
other
friend.
fields,
What are your
or what?
friends doing that time? So when you obviously working in working as like
What's their
the
reaction
head
to-
of a company.
I don't
So what
understand.
were your friends' reactions? What were they doing at that time?
It's not about me starting
How
early.
they
We
look
all
up to you.
started at the same time. Of
Yeah.
course, I had a legacy. So that was the difference. A lot
Yeah,
of my
just any
friends
fields
didn't have any
or what your
architectural
mates,
background in terms
just
of
your mates.
father,
What were their
uncle.
reactions?
So that difference definitely stays. The
Of you
legacy or
starting
the
so early while they
goodwill
might
that I
get a
have
slow start maybe.
from my dad's practice is definitely an
Okay.
advantage to me. So yeah, but we all started out at the same time. It's not that I started early. Everyone started working after graduation. Some worked with other firms. Some still continue to work with other firms. Some have their own practices. I had my father's practice to join.
Growing up, did you look up to your father? Even I want to be an architect. I want to work in his organization. Or did you have any other plans in mind? What was that early
I
phase like?
actually I actually wanted to join the forces. In fact, I had gone to give the entrance exam as well. So once I was in the hall, once I got the question paper, I don't know what happened to me. I sat there for 5 minutes, suddenly got up and exited. I don't know what took over, and I felt that, okay, this is not something that I want to do. Uh, so when I came back, I told him, okay, this is the thing. He said, okay, that's not an issue. What have you thought now? I said, I don't know. I haven't thought anything. He's like, okay, if you want to join architecture, there is an entrance exam that you need to give. So why don't you give it? We'll see what you want to do. We'll try and figure out later, or you can figure it out. So that's how I gave the entrance exam for architecture. And yeah, things fell in place. There were two colleges in Pune then. One was Abhinav, uh, and the other was MMCA. Uh, Dad had been teaching in Abhinav since '82. So when I had the choice to choose which college, he just told me that, okay, if you join Abhinav, I will stop teaching. I wouldn't want to teach in the same college as you are studying. So yeah, I said, okay, then you continue teaching, which is his passion, and he loves teaching. So I joined MMCA. So that's the beginning of my architectural journey.
So, what do you think would have happened if you gave that exam for the forces and not left the hall?
What would have happened?
Yeah.
I would have probably joined the forces. Uh,
And do you and and do you and from where you are right now, do you think if you knew what was going to happen in the future, would you have taken the exam, or do you think what decision you made was correct?
I have no complaints, but yeah, the life of the forces, and I wanted to be a pilot. Yeah, that still excites me. Whenever I hear jets, it still gives me a high, kind of a high, but in a different way now. Uh, yeah, so I'm enjoying what I'm doing. Uh, Today, I think for kids, there are far many options available as compared to our times where the options were comparatively limited. So yeah, the youngsters will probably be more confused to choose. But for youngsters, I would say just keep doing what you love. Try and figure out what is it that you really like to do, and not be bogged down by, okay, this one is doing this, and the career here seems fancy. So everything can be fancy provided you work for it. You work hard for it. But doing what you love is the key thing. I feel if you don't enjoy what you're doing, I don't think you'll succeed. And there's no harm in trying one, two, three things. We are always evolving. Our thought processes are changing. The dynamics around are changing. So be open to change. Be open to learn. That's what I would say to youngsters. And but yeah, there is no replacement to hard work. You have to be sincere, and you need to put in that much effort and hard work into whatever you want to.
Yeah, that's very true. Like this doesn't just apply to kids. Like if you're not liking something that you're doing, just change. Just if you're first into photography and then suddenly you're into exercising and all of that, so just and you don't like photography, just quit. If same applies to like any age. So even if you're 40, 50, if you're unhappy currently, just stop doing it. Look for alternatives, and end goal is to be happy, right? So that's good advice you gave.
Yeah, find your calling. You could like two, three things at the same time. Doesn't matter. Keep pursuing them.
Correct.
Somewhere down the line, and there's no harm in doing two things also at the same time. That's also fine,
Yeah.
provided that you know that you really like doing them. Keep continuing to do that. Try and explore, figure out what you really like, and then pursue it.
Yeah, same in my case. I don't do I do multiple things actually. I'm into 4 5 things which I do. So, and I think that works for
Yeah, as
me.
long as
Yeah,
you're enjoying, do them.
correct, correct, correct.
But
So,
at your age, when you're doing multiple things, I'm sure everything will take up your time. Yeah. So you
yeah,
got to
yeah,
prioritize and you got to find out what exactly is it that gives you enjoyment. What do you think will give you more satisfaction? Of course, you need to be successful. Money is also important. Uh, so you got to align everything and then figure out for yourself what is it that you really love to do.
yeah. So, out of the four, five things that I do, like prioritize everything. So, number one priority, this, it's this, then it's this, then it's this, then it's this. So,
So
whatever, whenever
I'm
I have
always,
time, yeah,
you will never be in a situation where you don't feel the need to prioritize. I think you will always feel the need to prioritize something over the other,
correct,
uh, to a certain point where you know you, as a person, you develop. Yeah. So a point will come where you really don't need to give too much thought to what to give more priority, because it will become part of you. You will
correct,
become
correct.
in a certain way. That's what I feel.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. So like, so let's move on to like, so let's move on to VCA Studio now. How does the organization itself work? So like, do you guys? So how? Where was it when it actually started? Where was it when you took over? And then where is it now?
As I said, it was started in 1975 by my father. Um, in 75, things were different than they are now. Um, the number of architects was less, the number of projects was less, the competition was less. But yeah, the profession then was not as, it was difficult to establish oneself. So yeah, they didn't have computers, so everything was hand drawn. So the amount of efforts and labor that we got to put into creating drawings, uh, the kind of technology that was available then, and the technology that we have now. So it's poles apart, I would say. Uh, yeah. So when I joined, I think uh, he was well established. He was successful. Uh, yeah. So I had a platform. He had climbed the ladder to a certain level when I joined. Uh, of course, that at times did create pressure that I need to keep up and I need to perform, which is good. So I have no complaints over there. Whether I have been able to, I don't know. Probably others who know me and others who look at it from a third point of view would be able to comment more than I would. I just know that for me, every day is a new day. I just need to wake up, go, do my thing, do it to the best of my ability, and call it a day, and then wake up the next day and keep doing whatever needs to be done. In terms of where it was and where it is, I really, as I said, I don't know. I never think about it. I just know I just keep doing what I need to do. It's an ongoing process. You keep learning from experiences, you keep learning from things that you observe, you keep reading stuff. Uh, so it's an ongoing process. You evolve every day. The day you feel that you've arrived and you're successful, and I think that would be a kind of a full stop in a way, where you don't start, you're not hungry to learn, you're not hungry to, experiment.
Yeah, so this kind of attitude works everywhere, like in any field, just to be just
Anything,
keeping that
everywhere.
curiosity up. Correct. So I had a question. Yeah. Okay. So I had a question. How do you grow an organization like this in terms of, is it, it's a B2B business, right? So how do you grow something like this?
I think what I believe is that you got to give your best, and your work should speak for yourself. I'm a little outdated over there when it comes to marketing and projecting, what the firm is about. I just believe that you keep doing what you're doing, and the work should speak for itself. So all I hope when I do a project is that, okay, the client should be happy, they should be satisfied. I should be my conscience should be clear that, okay, I gave my best considering all the parameters that are there. And if the client is happy, word of mouth helps. Yeah, you get referrals. That's what I have been doing. Uh, I have not been out there marketing myself, or I don't believe in that. In fact, I didn't even have a website till a while ago. And it's a very, very basic. It's just that it makes it simpler for sharing work when people ask for it. Earlier it was different, but now with the kind of data available and access people have to a lot of things, they just want to be sure, so they need to see things. So yeah, that's the website does that for me, and it's a fairly very, very basic and simple uh, website. And I believe in personal interactions more than just looking at the images. So if somebody is really keen, I think they would do their homework. There's no need to think that people are not smart. Everyone is smart nowadays. They will do their homework. You just need to do your thing right, and things should fall in place.
I love that attitude. Like, if my work is good, people come to me. So
Sure. Yeah,
it's a
that
great
always
it's a
does
great
happen.
way, yeah. So, but what do you think if you would go all out, let's say on LinkedIn, B2B, all of that, just put yourself out there online? What do you think would happen, or have you not looked into it yet?
As I said, I don't really believe in it.
Okay,
So
okay.
whatever I don't really believe in it, I don't feel like doing it. And if I don't feel like doing it, my presence is there on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Insta. I have the website, but it reflects, yeah. It reflects that I'm not a guy who's uh, out there posting stuff, portraying things. Uh, yeah, one could look at it that, okay, you're not projecting or you're not putting things up there the way it should be. But yeah, it's their opinion, and it's fair enough also. But what can I say? It's a difference of thought and difference in attitude, maybe. I don't know. A lot of my staff says that, why don't we have a good presence, or why don't we keep posting? I said all of that needs time, and if it's going to take up my time, I would rather keep working, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
because I get more pleasure in that, and I am busy with that, and my hands are full with that.
Yeah, to be fair though, that's a fair point you gave me. That's a fair
I'm
point.
sure it does make a difference. I'm sure it must be making a difference, but I'm not a best person to say that how much difference it makes, and if I would have done it, how much difference it would have made to my practice. I can't comment on that.
Correct, correct. Yeah, it's a fair point. Like, you enjoy
You got to
working.
do it and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
experience it and then comment on it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But if I've not done it, I, I can't comment about it.
Yeah, yeah, correct, correct. Again, but your point is valid. Like, you like designing. Why don't I just do that? I don't want to like spend more time on posting, uh, taking pictures, all of that. I just think that's a time waster. That's
I
a
do
fair
the
point.
basic thing which does not take too much time.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. And it's for the benefit of sharing work with someone who wants to know about it. Somebody who wants to look it up, somebody who wants. So yeah, it's just for that.
So, out of curiosity, what applications do you design in? So, I did I did graphic design a few years back in, I think it was SketchUp, application called SketchUp. So, what do you primarily work in? What application?
We primarily work on a software called ZWCAD.
Okay.
Uh, Earlier it was AutoCAD. Now, for many years, for over a decade, we've been using a software called ZWCAD. Earlier it used to have two-dimensional capabilities. Now it has three-dimensional capabilities. And of course, there are multiple softwares CAD related which have good capabilities now. Apart from that, yes, SketchUp is something that we also use for basic 3D modeling. Makes it simpler for us to present our work for the clients to understand, and it's a quick and handy tool. A lot of students also are aware of that software. It's not necessary that you train yourself in that. Uh, the students now are well versed with it, and they have better capabilities at it.
Okay, so
Apart from that, there are other softwares also we use,
okay.
but it depends on what. Primarily, it's the CAD, SketchUp. There's a 3D modeling software also, but we don't do too much of 3D modeling in-house because there are people who just keep doing 3D modeling, so they are better in that particular field. So we outsource a lot of work outside. As long as we get what we need and we present our work in a certain way, it doesn't matter if you're not doing it in house. That's okay.
And what kind of, and do you think beginners should be using these softwares, like complete newbies who are new to this?
Newbies in architecture?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Should they be using this software?
Yeah, yeah, they would be. They will be introduced to these softwares in college in their curriculum. So yeah, they will have to get used to it. I don't think they have an option.
Right, right, right. So speaking of college, for if you, let's say I want to be an architect, would it be better for what should be like the steps? So should I, what kind of a college should I go to, and should I even go to a college, or should I work at an organization like yours, or should I start my own, or and what different skills should I learn? What, and what's the like
I think
guideline?
I think you need to go to college. It's not architecture. I don't think is something that you can practice without going to college. You need to gain that knowledge, and of course, there are a lot of legalities also involved. So unless you are a qualified architect, unless you are registered with the Council of Architecture, which is the governing body, you will not be able to practice in your name. You can't get your plans sanctioned. You can't. You will not have the authority the way any other person who's qualified and registered and has the license to practice. So yeah, you should go to college, I feel.
Right, and then okay, then after I've graduated, so while is the thing that an architect will learn in college be enough? Will that be enough, or will they learn
See,
more? Okay,
it is never enough.
okay,
Understand one thing, it will never be enough. Yeah. Things are changing rapidly. You got to keep updating yourself. The world around is changing, and you need to adapt and you need to change. You don't want to be left behind. Forget you don't want to be left behind. If you're passionate about what you're doing, you want to be a step ahead instead of being a step behind. Yeah.
yeah, 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 correct. So you're saying you would, so practice on your own. This applies to anywhere, not just architects. Like whatever you're doing anywhere in school, in college, in your job, whatever, do one extra thing, learn another thing, learn more about that subject. So that's what
Yeah,
will
and I
stand you
think,
apart. Yeah.
yeah, and to begin with, I think once you are out of your college, I think it's very important who you work with or associate with, because you're then in your formative years. So the influence that you will have of someone you're working with or something that you're learning from is very, very critical. So you have to be very, very analytical, and you have to be very, very conscious about who you're trying to work with. What do you really believe in? Will you really learn things which relate to your beliefs? If you don't know what you really believe in, make sure you work with someone who who is doing good work. You don't want to work with someone where you will learn things that don't align with your interests. Yeah, so everyone has a mentor in a way. So make sure the mentor that you have or you look up to is someone doing good stuff. That's in the formative years. I think it is very important that you work with someone whose philosophy you believe in, whose philosophy you like, who you look up to, whose work you like. Yeah, so do your homework over there.
Okay, and how important is it to have a mentor, or is it even necessary?
I'm not saying that one needs to have a mentor. I'm
Correct.
not saying that.
Okay.
But make sure that the influences that one has are the right influences, and make sure that you do your homework. Be aware of what is influencing you, be aware of what will influence you, and then take steps towards that. Everyone gets influenced by something or the other, and at a young age, people get more influenced by a lot of things. So you got to be focused. That's all I'd say. I'm
And
sure
okay.
your parents would say, okay, a man is known by the company he keeps. So they would be wondering who your friends are, whose company you're with. So yeah, it does matter.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So at what point would someone want to leave their job and start something of their own? Not just in architecture, but you can reference to architecture as well. But in general, what would be the point where you start something of your own, or go for
Yeah,
that
this can
CEO
be
role?
very, very subjective, and it differs from person to person, differs from career to career, I would say. So I don't think there can be a generic answer to this. Uh, but yeah, what I have seen in my particular profession is uh, you grow with time. Yeah, you grow with projects, you learn with projects. So once you have the confidence to start out on your own, I think it should be okay. You should have a fair amount of experience to begin with. That I'm not saying it is a must. uh, Post graduation, some people do start on their own, so there's nothing wrong over there. uh, but you got to have confidence in yourself that okay, you can do it and you will learn out of it, and the struggle is there for anyone when he or she starts. So one should be ready for that struggle. As long as it's well thought of and you're ready and prepared for facing whatever decisions, the results of your decisions. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. So again, when starting, the hardest thing will be to actually find clients. So that would be hard when you're starting off fresh, new in the market. Like no one knows about you, no one's heard of you.
Yeah,
So
that is a challenge.
correct, correct.
Normally, it works within your circle to begin with, your friends, your family. The scale of the projects the nature of the work will be different. You will always start small. One would be lucky to get a big project to begin with, and how well you deliver, whether the project is small or large, will define what's your second project or third project, and so on. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome.
It also will give you confidence yourself. If you don't do something in the right way, and if you're conscious enough to understand and analyze, know your shortcomings, you will learn out of that as well. If one thinks that okay, whatever he or she has done is a good thing, without analyzing and looking back at the decisions that one has taken, uh, I think that's not the right way to go about it. One should always analyze, look at it from a third point of view, re-examine whatever one has done. That's how you learn and grow. Yeah.
Yeah, so most important mistake, like I think new business owners make is, let's say I am a phone manufacturing company. Let's just say I started one and I made a brand new phone. To my eyes, that phone is the best phone in the world, better than the iPhones and the Samsungs. But in reality, it may not be even better than a BlackBerry or something like that. So what you pointed out was good, yeah. So, like throughout the years, what have been some, so in an architecture organization, what kind of achievements or do you have under your belt? Does VCA Studio have under its name?
Well, I can certainly say that we won't have too many clients who would complain to us. I think most of them are fairly happy. If there are some who aren't, uh, we don't know of too many of them. So we look at a end customer as the focus. So whatever would be his needs, requirements, ambitions out of a particular project, I think to give a conscious solution to that has been our focus. In terms of other achievements, yeah, we've won a couple of national competitions, some large ones, some prestigious ones. So yeah, that's kind of an acknowledgement of uh, the work that we do. Satisfied clients is important. Happy clients is important. So that is the key thing. The other things like getting your work published, that's all a resultant of doing decent work. Yeah. So I wouldn't say it's an achievement. It's a result of what you've been doing. And if you do it well, these things will follow. These things will fall in place. So I wouldn't look at them as achievements. To be able to sleep with a conscious mind of after knowing that what you've done, you've given your best to give justice. I think that peace of mind and that clear conscience is
Yeah,
what's
like
most
throughout
important.
our conversation, you kept saying this, like you get, which I love about like your mentality is you get what you work for. Basically, there's no shortcuts.
So one could have 10 wishes, yeah, but if one does not work towards that wish, what is the point? Will he get it for sure? I doubt it. He might get one or two if he's lucky enough, but you will always get what you work for and how hard you work for it. The
Yeah, yeah,
earlier
yeah.
you will get it.
But and it's not under this, like it's still not guaranteed, right? So yeah, correct, correct.
Yeah,
You
it's
may get
not.
it in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years.
Yeah, but one should not think that if I do this, I want this and I should get this. And if you don't get it, yeah, there will be a slight disappointment. But one should look at it in a way that, okay, you need to put in more effort to get it. How you look at it is also very
Okay.
important.
So in this COVID scenario, what impact did it have on you guys? So
I think I realized that since I joined practice, I've just been putting a lot of effort, time, hard work. COVID actually forced me to sit back for a while because nothing was happening, nothing was moving. That's when I realized that, yeah, it's important to have a balance approach. It's also important to sit back. It's important to sit back and introspect, define, think about a clear path that you want to take here on. Uh, yeah, and I spend time with family, good quality time with family, which of course I enjoyed. So there are bits and pieces of learnings from this situation.
and what is the main thing you took out of it?
The main thing in terms of work is that I need to better myself at what I'm doing. The quantity of work does not matter, the quality of work does matter. So I definitely want to improve on the quality bit of it. So that's something that I feel I will definitely work on.
Great, great, great. And what are some future plans for Vikas Studio?
Future plans. As I said, I wake up each morning. So, yeah, so each day will be a new day. Give it your best. Let's see how it goes and where it goes. I don't like in making, I don't believe in making 5-year plans, 10-year plans. Of course, some sort of an ambition is there, some sort of a vision is there. Uh, but it's not a very hard and fast rule. I like to give it my best each day.
Yes,
So
same with
hopefully it
me.
will all
Yeah.
add up to the long term.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So it's the same with me. Like some people tell me you should have like specific years for you to achieve your goals. So, but I think that's wrong, because if you don't get it, then what? Then you'll
No,
be
you need to have a direction, right?
correct.
You need to know what
Direction is
direction
more
you need
important.
to go to, and you need to work for it. How soon or late, I don't know. You just need to put in that much effort. Keep working towards it, and I'm sure if you are very, very clear about it, you are focused, you have the right attitude, you have the right knowledge, I think you will get there.
Same.
There's no reason to think why you would not get there.
Yeah. So your goal should not be time bound, basically.
You should have a target, but you got to be reasonable enough.
Correct.
You got to give it time. You got to work towards it diligently, and you got to put in that hard work.
So like now I just want to ask you one final question before we wrap it up. So what would you tell like the younger generation to like do at this point of time? What should be they doing, and and is it good to be wasting time on all social media, Netflix, this that, and what should they be doing instead?
Uh, See, social media is a tool. If you use that tool to better yourself in terms of knowledge upgradation, why not? It's one of the tools. How you use all these tools, and if you let them be distractions, you would be wasting time. If you use them as tools to improvise your knowledge, uh, it's a great tool. So you got to be open. Yeah, you got to be conscious about what you're doing, how much you're putting in. But yeah, for youngsters, I think having clarity of thought. Uh, if you don't have speaking with elders, with friends, with experienced people to get clarity helps. Uh, Decide on a direction, decide what you like, put in that much effort, put in that hard work, be focused, be disciplined. These are all things that I would say. Yeah. A little bit of fun is absolutely essential. So draw balance, have the best of everything. Don't lose focus, don't lose priority, and work towards it.
Perfect. So that's been it. That's all I wanted to ask you, and I think you gave me all my answers, and I think you spoke well. So, do you have any last words?
All the best to you, yeah, and all the best to everyone, all the youngsters who might listen. I hope this could be of help.
Yeah, it's not just youngsters. There's a few old guys as well. So,
Yeah,
just any.
okay. Whoever's listening, I hope this is helpful or entertaining, whichever way.
Yeah,
I,
if it's both, then it's the best.
yeah. Each one, somebody will. Well, I hope there is a little takeaway for everyone in this. If not, I hope it's just a decent conversation to hear. That's about it.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Hope you enjoyed. And as you know, there'll be a new episode coming every 2 weeks instead of one now, because I want to not make this kind of content so abundant that people take it for granted. So what you'll get still will be the best of the best quality, and enjoy and share this with, as I said in the start, share this with at least one person who hasn't heard this before. Enjoy.